Okay, today I'm going to show you a Mercedes Mb Trac. This one here is a 1500. We had engine problems here lately from working the bollocks out of it, to be honest, turning it up too much. So we had to replace the engine. And what we did in this case is we took an engine from a 814. Got a noisy horse today. Took this engine out of this 814, lovely truck. Only 57,000 miles on it, so there was. So we took the engine complete and we fitted it into this tractor. And I'm just going to tell you some of the problems or things that you will overcome when you go to do this. It's a Mercedes 352 engine block. On the truck and the tractor are the same. Same engine. This is a grey one, so it's one of the later ones. This tractor is a 1984 Mb Trac, but they're the same the whole way through. The problems that you will have is the sump is different, so you need to change that. And the other difference you will have is the head. The head is different. The pump is actually the same, it's just the settings on the pump is the same. The water pump is also different. So on this one we decided to keep the head on this one this time, didn't change the head over. Just because the engine was a good engine, I didn't want to go messing around putting the other head back on it and stuff. So that gave me an extra few difficulties, and I'll show you how we overcame them. If you change your head, you have no problems because you change your water pump, you keep your water pump and everything fine. One of the first problems we had here was with the compressor. Your compressor bolts on here for your tractor. It's just a little piston compressor. The camshaft for this engine actually wasn't ground for it. So when I took off that plate and went to fit my compressor, it wasn't ground for it, so I wasn't able to fit it. So I went for option 2. I kept the compressor off the truck. I fitted it here. The problem with the truck engine is the bracket that they give you for mounting it sits out, leaves the compressor sitting out here somewhere, because they don't have the height in the truck, but they have width. They have more width. So to keep it fitting inside your bonnets here, you have to make up your own plate here. I think that's about an 8mm plate. We made that up. It's on slotted holes so that it can tighten your fan belts here. The compressor here also needs an oil feed to lubricate it, and the return then to return the oil. The only other little problem here is at the back of this pump is that this had a steering pump mounted on the back of it. So we had to make up that blanking plate just to keep the oil in and keep it right. Depending on which head you used or which water pump you used, the water pump we used here is the original one off the truck. And the problem we came with there is that the fan actually sits slightly lower. And if you leave your fan on it, it will hit the bottom pulley. That bottom pulley will just bolt on and bolt off. But the problem we had here is that the water pump on the truck is actually a bit lower. The water pump on the tractor sits up here somewhere. So what we did here was we just extended out the fan, and it fits in here between the bottom pulley and the radiator. Technically that might not be 100% correct, but that's what we did, and it works fine. We look over the other side here. You obviously change your starter and alternator because the truck is 24 volts obviously. The problem that we came with here is because we didn't change the head. The inlets and the outlets are different on the tractor. So all the pipes we had for the tractor, the inlet manifold and the outlet manifold, for the tractor that we had wouldn't fit just straight on. So we used a different exhaust and a different inlet here, because the truck one has the outlets and inlets all in the head, where the tractor is slightly different, and I'll show you one of those in a second. Wasn't that big a deal, but that's what we had to do to keep this engine complete. So that's that one. I'll just have a look at this other tractor first. Here's another tractor here, a 1300. It's all the same. The 13s and the 15s use the same engine block, the 352 block. As you can see, it's all the same starter, alternator, the sump is the same. All this stuff is the same except for the pump settings. So depending on what pump you use or what way you set it. So you got the same turbo basically. This is actually a different type of turbo, but they're normally a K27 or something like that. here we have the head. This is the proper tractor head. We got the head, and the exhaust manifold is in the head, but the inlet manifold actually goes in through the top of the rocker cover. That's the main difference that you'll see with the two heads. And the water with the pump is different as well. If you use your tractor head, you have to use your tractor pump. Your tractor water pump actually sits up further. If you see here, your fan actually sits up further than your pulley, so the two of them don't hit, they don't meet, so you don't need to extend it out or anything. That's the difference there. And I'll show you the air compressor on the tractor too, where on the new one it's actually a good modification. If you ever get the chance to do it, it's a good modification. If you're running trailers with air brakes or with air suspension, it's a good modification to do. So you know, you have enough room here to fit on the truck one, so if you can do it, you should, because it gives you, you know, your air builds up straight away almost. And if you're doing anything, especially if you're running a tri-axle trailer with airbags and stuff on it, they can use a lot of air. So here we have the original tractor compressor here. It's a piston compressor, and it's driven off the camshaft inside, so it doesn't give you as much air, but it works fine. Obviously that's the standard one that's on it. So we'll just go back to this other one and we'll give it a start and let it run for a second. We won't bother climbing into the cab or anything technical like that. Dialing a bit low obviously, so I'll just give it a rev and let you hear it. It sounds slightly different now with the different manifolds. There was more of a whine from the turbo before. We've lost some of that slightly, the way the exhaust is done differently, but it works fine. It's not a big job and it's not that technical, so, and the Mercedes are easy to work on obviously, so I hope that's some help for you.